Hello everybody, welcome back, and I am the Chornik, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about, well, something extremely important today. It was Ash Ketchum's last episode yesterday, and there's so many mixed feelings that not only I have, but of course the community has about it. It was time, in my opinion. I'm happy that he's gone, but at the same time, there's that sadness, I was born in the 1990s and Pokemon came out in the 1990s. It's pretty much been part of me my entire life. So seeing a character that's kind of been with you for as long as you've been alive, think about that, then all of a sudden losing them, right? Seeing them walk away, it is sad. It is, it's that childhood, that last piece of childhood that's just that's leaving now. And something that you've always had, now you don't, right? It's kind of like that saying, you don't know what you have, or, you don't know that you truly love something until it's gone, sort of thing. Or you don't really realize the value of something until it's gone. But to be fair, I wanted them to give him an ending. I felt like it was kind of depressing just to see him try every season just to end up in the same place, right? And then finally having him win a league, and then finally him being the very best like no one ever was, defeating Leon. I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad that he finally reached being the greatest trainer of all time, because that was technically his goal. Now, they also stated in this recent episode that, now he's going to go on another adventure, which in my opinion almost makes me a little upset, because they don't really give him a conclusion. I know they don't really want to say goodbye to Ash. You could tell that in this episode and this series, and they never really wanted to end. But, at that point, once he becomes the champion and, he's the greatest of all time, it's, what else is there to do, right? What adversity is he gonna face now when he's already the greatest ever? Or, maybe not ever. There could be him having to defend his title and whatever, but the greatest for the moment, right? I'm sure down the road he's going to have to fight perhaps the new protagonist that's coming up, or he's going to have to defend his title some way. But in this episode, this most recent one, he said that, being champion wasn't his goal, and which I think is kind of just the writer's way of wanting to bring him back. I think that kind of was the whole point, to be honest. Battling is, I think, the most intriguing part of Pokemon. You catch Pokemon and then you have them fight and then you try to be the best. And battling's, I think, the biggest part of that. That being said, in this episode, just to recap everything that I did like, I did find enjoyable and happy with. Pidgeot came back, finally. I think that was just a huge surprise to everyone. But that's awesome that they wrapped up that loose end. But obviously, speaking of loose ends, that's something else that I was kind of upset about, is that they didn't wrap up, all these other companion and even Pokemon, loose ends, stories that they could have done that for Dawn, May, Serena. I think they could have had something with even Primate, having him come back and having an episode based upon that, like Pokemon that he let go, or having Greninja come back, or seeing Ash Greninja for one last time, But given the way the direction of this last series went, I think they didn't want to do that, because this isn't the end. You know what I mean? Ash's journey's not over. They don't want to finish off his story, really. Right now, they don't know what to do with him right now, because, after all, he just became the greatest, right, in the world. So, they gotta figure out, they want some time to figure out what he's gonna do next. But in the meantime, they're going to have Liko and Roy as a new protagonist come into the picture. So, right now, I feel like the ending in this last series that they gave him was pretty bad, right? Because I thought this was the end for Ash. Why won't they have a huge party and bring back all of his companions, and they all celebrate his achievement and then call it there, right? But I think down the line they're going to bring him back, and that's why they didn't really want to give him this grand, oh yeah, everyone's celebrating the end. There wasn't all these other companions achieving their dreams yet, because it's gonna happen later on. So they don't want to make the audience feel oh yeah, this is the end, there's everything's wrapped up, there's nothing to go off of, nothing to make a future series about, sort of thing. And I think that's why they decided to go with the direction that it went with in this current series. But the whole befriending Pokemon thing is just, that's something that he's been doing every single series, and I just feel like it's not as enjoyable to watch as, say, like battles and things like that, you know. That was his greatest adversity, was becoming the greatest, right? Defeating all these other champions and winning these amazing Pokemon battles. Befriending all the Pokemon, I get it, but the fact that he left and just kind of went on another journey, like as if he's never gonna stop, in a way it makes me feel a little depressed for him, because, you know, I want him to kind of have an ending. You know, all good things end, as they say. And so I feel like if Ash really does continue on forever, I almost feel like that's a bad thing. So there's definitely you know, mixed feelings on this. It's sad to see him go, but at the same time, they're also saying that his journey's not complete. So it's kind of like, it's just a whole mixed of, it's a mess, in my opinion. Of course, if they do bring him back, I think that does fix it a little bit. But at the same time, you know, I don't know how I feel about them bringing back. When will they bring him back? And how they're going to execute that, or are they going to figure out what exactly they're going to do with him? Gary returned in this episode. He was the one that kind of questioned Ash, like, hey, I mean, you kind of did it all. I mean, you won the Pokemon, you won the Master Tournament. You are the strongest in the world, you are a champion. You know, how close are you to this Pokemon Master idea that you have, right? And I'm glad that Gary was the one that said that. And Ash just kind of looks puzzled, because, I mean, he's so young, right? I mean, his journey's technically over. Like, he achieved the greatest thing, in my opinion, that you could in the Pokemon world. Since, I mean, mainly that's what you do in the games. I mean, that's the most important thing, is you have to become champion. That's the end goal. So, befriending all the Pokemon in the world, sure, that's something that he can continue to go on and do, but I don't think that's really a bigger thing than becoming the champion of the world. So I think they need to come up with something else if they're going to bring him back. Or maybe he's just going to have cameos in the future, and Liko and Roy are going to be the main protagonists, you know, for at least a long time going forward. Or they could be switching it out from series to series and have a new protagonist every generation. Team Rocket also came back in this episode. You can see that they're continuing to just be permanent companions of Ash, permanently being with him for the rest of his life. I have mixed feelings about that as well. I kind of want Team Rocket to change, you know? Like, in the way, like, yeah, Ash is gone, but nothing's really, like, him and his companions around him aren't fulfilled, it feels like. It feels like this is the ending, but they're not fulfilled. I guess that's what the feeling I'm getting. Like, these last 11 episodes could have been about some sort of resolution, or his companions achieving their dreams, and Ash having a huge party, and just a reunion with all his Pokemon, and maybe just having a series of him going on adventures with his different Pokemon, and that's fine. And that there's a journey that forever continues, because they don't really want to get rid of Ash. And I think the TV views are going to go down at first for Liko and Roy, for the new, you know, Horizons anime that's coming out. And I'm kind of afraid that, you know, they're going to react to this being like, oh, we shouldn't have gotten rid of Ash. Like, we need to bring Ash back in order to get these views back. And, you know, like, or the, you know, Pokemon Company wants money, and like, oh, they're losing money this year, and they're gonna get mad at it. They're mad at us, so we have to bring Ash back. Like, you know, I hope they don't fall into that trap, because that's what's gonna happen at first. It is gonna happen. Like, they're probably going to lose some viewership because it's not Ash Ketchum. But give it time. Let Liko and Roy be in the spotlight for a while, right? Develop them, and over the years, I think they will be as popular as Ash. Or at least a lot closer. You know, maybe they'll be even written better, but perhaps, I mean, it depends on the anime looks better, the animation, the art, etc. Give it time, because I'm a little worried that they're gonna show them for like one series, right, and then they're gonna go back to Ash because of the viewership or something, or, you know, people are gonna be outcry for Ash because the money isn't there. So that's what I'm worried about. Also in this episode, we got Tracy actually having a speaking role. In fact, Tracy's the last companion that Ash interacts with in his ending, which I found kind of interesting, very weird, but I guess kind of cool, because he hasn't had a talking role in forever. Although I'm kind of upset that May and Max have never returned for anything, right? They never saw him again. Ash also says goodbye to Brock and Misty for one last time. And that's kind of like the ending. He just throws a stick up into the air and decides where to go, and then he's off. So, I mean, it's sad, of course, to see him go. I mean, after all, he's been around with us at least for me, it's been, you know, as long as I've been alive. You know what I mean? to all of a sudden, like, that not being a part of your life anymore, it definitely has a wave of feelings, doesn't it? But at the same time, I'm happy. I wanted them to move on from him. I wanted him to have an ending. Like, all good things end. I wanted him to leave the anime as, you know, the greatest of all time, blah, blah, blah. To him to fulfill his dreams. But in a way, the way they ended it, it feels like he hasn't done that. Like, he's not happy with himself. You know, he needs to go walk, you know, off to a new adventure because he's not done. And that almost makes me sad because it's like, I want him to be happy with himself. You know, like, I want him to feel as if he's accomplished things. And the fact that he's like, oh, champion's not my goal, and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes off, walks off, and tries to find something else to do. And, it almost saddens me, you know, because, like, he feels like he's not done yet. But again, that's the writer's way of bringing him back in the future, which I'm sure they probably will if it has something to do with money, or if they have cameos or whatnot. Or maybe they'll have another series with him for just the heck of it, you know, like a side series, like how the Mega Evolution series was, you know, they might just have some extra episodes with Ash just kind of airing in the background, you know, like every other week or something, or once a month. But anyway, to finish off this video, I will talk more about, like, the Liko and Roy situation. So from the information that we've gotten so far, Liko seems to be written a lot like Ash. I mean, she's fallen off the tower in that trailer. Her Pokemon, apparently, Sprigato, doesn't listen to her at first. Like, those things are obviously a lot like Ash. She's probably going to be written a lot like him. I mean, after all, that's how they know how to write a protagonist, the main protagonist. You know, like, that's how they wrote Ash. I mean, it's kind of a copy and paste. It's easy for the writers to just do the same thing, but with a new protagonist. Perhaps she will have some differences than him, I'm sure, but I'm kind of worried they're going to write her exactly like him. From the information we've seen so far, it seems to be the case. But we'll see. That pendant thing that she has apparently is connected to Rayquaza, I believe. At least that's what it seemed like. And it also has to do with crystallization, so maybe like a crystallization Rayquaza or something. And there's, like, evil people after it, basically. And she's going to have to go protect it. Also, the hair clip that she has is a symbol of the Indigo League. And the reason why she has this hair clip, which a lot of people were wondering why for a while, is the fact that she's actually going to Kanto for school. So we thought this whole time that the academy was the one in Paldea. No, she's just from Paldea. No, this anime is going to be taking place in Kanto. She's going to, like, an Indigo League academy. That's where she's going. And apparently that's, I guess, where it's going to start off at. Kanto, just like how they did. Pokemon just never changes, does it? Or at least not in a big way. It's very safe and slow, right? They want to copy a lot of things from before. She's starting off her journey, or at least to us, in Kanto, where she's going to school. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really like the whole school setting in Pokemon, to be honest with you. I still feel really iffy on that. I don't know if I like the fact that they added school to Pokemon games, and even the anime here. But yeah, it's actually being taken place in Kanto. So maybe she'll see Ash. Maybe she'll see some of, you know, the gym leaders and all that, Brock and Misty. There's a lot of potential that could come out of this, and I'm actually kind of hyped to see it. Also, I made a theory a long time ago that I think the next protagonist will probably be female. They're probably going to write her a lot like Ash, but she's going to be female. That way, it's different enough. You know what I mean? If they make another male protagonist, I feel like they're going to write him the exact same way of Ash, and it's going to be just a copy and paste exactly, right? And it's not going to feel right. It's just going to be Ash 2.0. So making her female is going to make it feel different enough, at least. I hope they don't make her all high-pitched and like Ash's former companions where they're extremely girly and all that. You know, I hope that she's cool, she's collected. Maybe she's nervous, obviously, and weaker at first, but she grows. And she develops into a very strong and confident trainer. She grows more into, like, what Ash was. So I think it's kind of cool that some of my theories are predictions of what they would do if they had a new, you know, new protagonist. It's kind of true. Also, I made some tweets before about how they're always going to add Charizard, Lucario, Pikachu. and probably even Eevee in every single series. And so far, yeah, there's another Pikachu and there's another Charizard that's owned by one of the prominent trainers. So the fact that they just can't break away from these Pokemon and showcasing them in every single series, that seems to continue. So I'm pretty spot on so far in my predictions of what every series is going to have, or what the new protagonist will be about. But anyway, guys, post in the comment section below your thoughts and feelings. What was your favorite moment in Ash's journey? What was your favorite episode? What was your favorite battle? Maybe your favorite moment? What part of the series made you cry, perhaps? I want to see what moments affected you guys the most out of Pokemon. You know, post that in the comment section below. What was your favorite? What was your first episode? What was the first episode you've ever seen of Pokemon? When did you start watching? What was your favorite series? What was your favorite season? What was your favorite Pokemon of Ash's? What was your favorite companion? I'd like to see what affected you guys and what was your favorite in the comment section below. But anyway, guys, I love your faces. Can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Thank you, Ash and Pikachu, for being with us for 25, 26 years, for being with us through childhood, through teenage, through adult years, being a big influence on us. I'm happy to finally say goodbye to this man. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I love your faces. Can't wait to see you guys in the next video. I love you all, and peace off. Thank you very much.